Congratulations, you finally made it to 4 p.m. You know what that means. Happy hour. It's time to kick back, relax, and dive into the world of sports with the Young and Norvelle Show. Whether you're catching up on the latest scores, analyzing the big plays, or gearing up for tonight's games, we've got you covered. So grab a cold one, settle in, and let's talk sports. Here they are, Patrick Young and Terry Norvelle.
All right, we're slowly wrapping up this week of Sports Talk. It is Friday. We're so glad to be here. Terry Norvelle coming to you from our beautiful studio right here, the Action Sports Jack studio. Patrick Young may be checking in momentarily. And Brent Beard about 5 o'clock. We'll put a bow on the week that was and kind of peek ahead to the weekend. A lot going on. And basketball, in our parts, college basketball, kind of starting to squeeze into the top spot as March Madness is right around the corner. Zach Rothrock producing, as I said, Patrick and or Brent, we hope to hear from as we cruise through this late afternoon. Zach, I want to say welcome. And Zach. It is cold outside there, and we'll welcome also Patrick Young.
Yeah, Patrick's with us too, yep.
Pat's with us, Zach's with us.
Yep.
Pat, I know it's bright and sunny, but man, it's going to be cold tonight. It's cold out there right now. It's going to be cold tonight, Patrick. Cold tonight.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
How was Charlotte? How was the weather there the last few days? Uh-oh. Well, he's not a fan, is he, Zach?
Nope. Won't do it.
How was Charlotte?
Charlotte was good. It was a good trip. I would say if it wasn't for the Missouri-Bama game, all the rest of the games were kind of
Yeah.
You know,
that one.
But that was a good one. That was a good one.
I thought that one night it was going to be a blockbuster, but you're right. Boy, Missouri. And we got a lot of stuff to get into today, including a bunch of college.
Man.
It'll be college basketball for a long time.
Dude, it will be. It was really, I'll tell you this, it was really impressive seeing how Kentucky just absolutely dismantled Vanderbilt in the second half.
I know.
Like, they started out the second half. They went and pounded the ball in the paint like 5 or 6 times in a row.
They really did.
Because they were like, your bigs, they can't stop Amari Williams and Carr. And then I think Vandy, it took them 10 minutes to score 10 points. I mean, it was Kentucky jumped out on them.
Vandy probably needed that game a little more than Kentucky. And,
They did. They needed that game.
Kentucky
they need one more. They're going to make the tournament. They should make, but they should have one more like top 15 win. Maybe a team comes to. I mean, they had Tennessee, man. They had them. That was a heartbreaker.
They really did. Earlier today, Pat, you may not have seen it. It came out this mid-afternoon. I think there's like 15 Naismith College Basketball Coach of the Year nominees, and there's a nice long list. Todd Golden is on there, Bruce Pearl, all the people you think would be on there. Rick Pitino, who I don't like Pitino. He is a good coach. He's done great things at St. John's.
He's done a great job at St. John's, man.
I think the head and shoulders guy that should win the Coach of the Year in college basketball is Gates at Missouri. What he's done with that team and that program after going 0-18. And, dude, they put 110 on Alabama the other night.
There should have been more.
Yeah.
They should have put up more. And Alabama's going to shoot. Alabama got a lot of 50-50 balls in that, the last 5 minutes that really just went their way, and it resulted in threes, that's why Alabama's so dangerous.
Yeah.
I still don't trust them to be a Final Four team, but they are capable. I wouldn't be surprised if they made it to the Final Four. But I think you're so right, man. Missouri did Coach Gates after going 0-18 and this gives hope. This gives hope and maybe a little bit more patience for certain programs to say, hey, they may have had a bad year, but they could turn this thing around in 1 year, just like that. And he's
God
proof of
bless
that.
the portal. And God bless the portal. It doesn't.
God bless the portal.
It doesn't have to take 3-4 years to reconstruct your program.
But you got to be now as a school though. You got to be willing to pay. You got to be willing to put money in a little fund. That's why Porter Moser in Oklahoma, he's gonna be out of there. I think he's getting fired. And there's nothing he's done to the media or anything. I just don't think his style of play. And plus, Oklahoma they've put like no money into basketball.
Yeah. I do still like the fact that, yes, you need to have, just like pro sports, you need to have a bunch of money in your enough money to spend. I get that. You got to have money. But I still like the fact that you still have to have an eye for talent, too. I mean, it's more than just who's got a checkbook. Here's a bunch of blank checks. You better go get the right guys. I mean, Todd Golden has an
eye. Get the right guys.
Todd Golden has an eye for talent. I mean, he has an eye for talent. I know they write some checks, too. But I don't think they're.
Man, he had some guys. Some guys he brought in. I wish I could remember all their names, but like Kawasi Reeves didn't turn out to be a good recruit. And then there was another kid that was like defensive player of the year in another conference, and it didn't work out for any of those. So he and maybe he realized and changed his philosophy in recruiting, because those guys, if he had them on the roster, some of those that I meant, they would not be in the top 25.
I agree. I agree. Hey, let's go back to Alabama for a moment. They've lost 2 in a row. They're on skates right now. Alabama, here's their next. Everybody's got 5 games left. Here's Alabama's next 5: Kentucky, Mississippi State, at Tennessee, Florida, at Auburn. I tell you one thing. Alabama needs to get a hold of this thing now. They don't need to ride into postseason play having lost 5 out of 6. That's going to knock them. Yeah. They lose 5 out of 6 going into.
Who do they got? Oh, they got Kentucky this weekend. Yeah.
Kentucky tomorrow at home. So they've got, and I think the new rankings will come out soon. But off the old rankings, Alabama's on a 2-game losing streak. Their next 5 to close out the regular season, they play number 17, number 21, 6-2-1.
Wow.
They need to tighten up now. The last thing Alabama needs is to limp into postseason play.
Hey, man.
If they lose
a championship, a Final Four team wins 3 out of those 5.
Yeah. And let's say they get 2 out of 5. If they limp into postseason play, they're going to drop to about a 4 seed. And that will not be good for Alabama. They need to get a hold of this thing.
I'd be so curious what Nate Oates would do to the lineup.
Yeah,
he would change something for sure.
Did you see him smash the whiteboard on the sideline?
Yeah.
I'm glad
he was looking for because at first I thought he just slapped it out of his assistant coach's hand, but he took it from the assistant coach when he handed it to him, and he slapped it as soon as he grabbed it, because I was like, dang, you gonna do your assistant coach like that? But he did not. I know he was angry.
I thought he was coaching his ass off. He was grasping for straws the other night. He was looking for something to get his team going. He didn't find it, but he's trying.
Man, it was just that start, man. If his guys, you eliminate that 12-0 start, you start 12-0 to start the game, Terry. If it's like 12-6 or 2 to 12 or something like that, you can bounce back and say, all right, we just missed some shots or something. It seemed that first 2 minutes that Alabama was like, oh wait, all right, we can stop the scrimmage now. We can let's start the real game.
And buddy, that crowd was revved up, weren't they? That Missouri crowd was revved up, buddy. They were revved up. And
M-I-Z. That white kid, Caleb Grill. Man, so crazy, Terry. He barely played. It's another reason why Missouri had such a bad season last year. Caleb Grill was hurt pretty much the majority of that year.
God, he hit a 3 the other night, man. I'm like, did he even look at the basket? He caught that thing, and he was catching Patrick and going into the shooting motion. I didn't even think he looked at the rim before he let it go. And it went straight in. He's the guy from Missouri can really shoot. And basketball players have all improved their shooting, and I think it starts from the NBA down. I think Steph Curry will get a lot of he and Klay Thompson, when they were just Pat, you remember when Klay and Steph were in their peak, they were two of the best shooters we've ever seen on the same team, and their team was good. So, and that was 10 years ago or whatever. All these young kids, they weren't trying to dunk like Michael Jordan. They're trying to shoot like Steph. That's why everybody can shoot now, right?
Yeah. He really did change the game.
Really has.
But now it's like man, the NBA, and I don't, this is just a rant. I know most people feel that. Just how much it is just shoot threes and get dunks. Like that's all this.
Yeah.
I don't know if I was with you or with someone. We were watching the NBA game, and we were like, all right, let's see how many possessions both teams go until like it was all threes. It was like 7 or 8 threes in a row.
But the ball never went into
and
the
it's
lane.
like, wow, this is NBA basketball.
Ball never went into the paint, huh?
It would go into the paint sometimes, but if it's going into the paint, if it's not to a main guy scorer, then it's look like going into the paint to get passed back out.
How about that?
Yeah.
All right, Pat.
NBA
Let's
basketball.
switch it. Let's switch it to the Gators. I'm going to stick where I don't know if they're going to win the national title. It's hard to win championships. I think on a neutral court, they're the best team in the country. And I think they're clearly the best team in the country on a neutral court. Florida also, 5 games left, Pat. I think they break down. If Florida can navigate these last 5 games, and if they can go 4-1, and I don't care how they get there, they'll probably get there by losing in Tuscaloosa. But even if they win and lose somewhere else, if Florida can go 4-1 the rest of the way, I think, number one, that will definitely get them a 1 seed in a region. And number 2, I think 4-1 will get them probably no worse than the number 2 overall seed, Pat, if they can go 4-1. Now, here's their 4.
I tell you what, Terry. I tell you what. Todd Golden has saved Scott Strickland some buzz.
Yeah.
Hasn't he? He's saved himself with such a great hire. That's
and he needed it.
Ooh, man. He needed somebody to be outstanding for some saving grace.
He needed
because it's been it was loud for a while, wasn't it?
It was really loud, and he's missed on a lot of his other coaches. Remember, he didn't hire Sully, and he didn't hire the baseball guy. He didn't hire Sully. He was already there.
It's Sully he didn't hire Tim Walton. Didn't hire Mary White. And now there's a new volleyball coach. So
yeah.
I'm glad we get to forget. Did you talk about that, Mary Wise, after 34 seasons?
Yeah, we got that in a week or so ago when it was announced.
Nice.
Yeah, we paid some, of
awesome.
course. But, going back to Strickland, not only has he not hired the home run hires down there so far other than Golden, he's had controversies now. He's had the women's basketball coach and the soccer guy was in and out in a couple of weeks, and there were ugly controversies.
And something with the lacrosse coach too, right?
I think so. Yeah, he's had some.
I think there was something with the lacrosse coach as well.
Yeah, he could really use this. But Pat, here's Florida's last 5 regular season: at LSU tomorrow, at Georgia. I think that's a dicey game. I think Georgia's going to be revved up Tuesday night. Florida
Georgia needs to play like every game is like their last game because they're spiraling out of control.
Yeah, they're about done. They need a big win. So Florida's got 5 left. I think they need to definitely go 4-1. At LSU, at Georgia Tuesday. At LSU tomorrow night, 6 o'clock. At Georgia Tuesday. Home against A&M. And I'm very happy that game's in Gainesville. I would hate to be going to College Station right now. Then they play midweek next week at Alabama. That's a Wednesday. And then they close the regular season at home against Ole Miss. So not a terrible schedule, but I mean there's some. You're playing the 3 pretty highly ranked teams. Do you agree with me though, Pat? They need to go 4-1, and I think they have done about all they can do in the regular season.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy that game with A&M is at home.
Yeah, tough game.
That's going to be a challenge. It's very possible. Florida, if you can go to the jungle and beat Auburn, like why would they think? I mean, it's very possible they can go 5-0. Why wouldn't they think they can go into Alabama and get a win there? Why not?
You're right.
It's a tough place to win, but their defense would have to step up. Because I can see that being a game where both teams are in the hundreds. Again, but yeah, I mean they should take care of Oklahoma. Georgia might be a little bit tougher. Is it Oklahoma or is it LSU next?
LSU tomorrow.
LSU, gotcha.
Yeah, LSU.
They've got athletes.
Yeah.
But they're not good enough, man. They're not good enough.
How about Georgia? We just talked about Georgia desperate for one more win. How about Georgia's got Auburn tomorrow? They've got Auburn and Florida back to back. Oh God!
Dang.
Oh, That hurts. By the way, Auburn still got one. Florida's trying to track Auburn down. I know we're getting ahead of the cart ahead of the course a little bit.
Might be tough.
But here's what Auburn's got left, and they've got one loss. Keep in mind, Florida's got 3, but if Florida can tie them, they win the tiebreaker, right?
Yep.
Because they beat them head-to-head. They're only going to play once. Auburn has Georgia tomorrow, Ole Miss midweek, at Kentucky the following Saturday, A&M midweek, and then Bama.
Dang, that's tough.
So, yeah, if Florida can hold serve, don't forget now, if Florida and Auburn tie in the loss column, and it's only 2 of them, Florida wins because of the tiebreaker.
They need to win out.
Yeah.
Florida's got to win out.
Yeah.
If they want to win the SEC, the regular season, they got to win, and that'll help them because they have Bama.
Yeah.
So I guess that will put them ahead of Bama if they get a win.
Yeah.
There as well. So win out, and then hopefully someone else can put a chink in that armor of Mizzou
And it
Auburn.
matters. It matters to me because I think it's pretty apparent now. That selection committee is going to give the number 1 seed overall to the SEC regular season winner. I think that's going to be the prize, and it should be. If you've navigated these 18 games and you come out clearly the number 1 team in the race, I think, and where that plays at, Pat, if you're the number 1 overall seed, you're going to get – now you got to win your way where I'm going, but you're going to get bracketed where you go through Atlanta.
Yeah.
And every team in the SEC would love to get bracketed where they could get to the Atlanta regional finals. You know?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
You would love to go and right now, Auburn looks like if they're the 1 of 1, they're going to get Lexington tied into that Atlanta to make their way to San Antonio. So I think that 1 of 1 is key because you get bracketed to go to Atlanta. Everybody in the SEC would want to go to Atlanta, right?
Yeah, without a doubt. Absolutely.
Can you imagine playing in Atlanta, the headquarters of the SEC, in the Elite 8 trying to get to the Final Four? You'll take that in a heartbeat. Heartbeat, without a doubt. In a heartbeat, you'll take that. Hey, man, let's switch to NBA real quick. What a shame about Wemby. Did you hear about that? I know,
man.
Some kind of blood
I can't wait to talk to Dr. Bates because I just don't in your shoulder, like. And I was listening to some doctor talk about it, about like you see it's extremely rare.
Yeah.
But it happened to Brandon Ingram some years back.
Oh.
It's not life-threatening or not like career ending, I should say.
Yeah.
I don't know about, but it's serious. Like he's young and he's healthy. He's 19 years old, 20.
Isn't that crazy?
Blood clot in his shoulder.
And we can get into this, like you said, with Dr. Bates next Wednesday. I didn't hear many details. Do you get something like that from blunt force trauma, or is that just something wrong with your blood, or I don't know.
He was saying something about, repetitive overhead motions. Which I'm like, what? I'm like, shouldn't that affect every basketball player then? And that, shouldn't we see way more of that?
Wow.
So yeah,
looks like he's out for the year, right? I mean.
Yeah, they had it because it said his treatment would be 3 to 6 months on blood thinner, which you can't play on the thinners. There's too many risks.
Yeah, you start bleeding, you'll bleed out, won't you? Yeah.
So that's the end of his season, and I think you end up bruising easier as well.
That makes sense. And from an NBA standpoint, obviously you want Wemby to get healthy and lead a normal life. But from the NBA standpoint, the NBA, and we don't talk that much NBA, but it's pretty apparent right now. The NBA is trying to groom their next group of, there's always, the NBA is about players, not teams, right? They always market players first, teams second. The NBA is now trying to groom their next 5. LeBron's going out the back door, and Steph Curry's kind of seen his better day, right? The NBA, Wemby's one of those guys. Wemby and Ant and those guys. They're trying to groom their next five faces. What a shame. He's going to miss the rest of the year. No playoffs or anything. I don't know if have they gotten any better? That team was terrible last year. I don't know if they're any better.
Yeah, they're better than they were last year, but they still have a losing record. I think they're like 24 and 29 or 20, something like that.
But still, man, when you're Wemby, you're the 7'4" Wemby. The NBA, you want him playing and going to all the visiting cities. That's how you get buzz, man. That's how you get buzz.
Absolutely.
You want him going to play in New York a couple
Did you hear?
times.
Did you hear that NHL former player kind of like go on his rant of NHL versus NFL or not NFL, NBA?
Yeah, I heard about it. Subban or whatever, those guys.
Yeah. It makes so much sense, I guess, in terms of when you're on the ice, like you can't go half speed out there. You're gonna get hurt. So like, if you're ever out there on the ice, you respect the game and you just give it all you got. Doesn't matter who's out there or not. And even with their All-Star games, with that Four Nations thing we just had, like apparently they had a lot of I'm not a huge hockey guy,
nor am I,
but I respect the sport. I respect the heck out of the sport.
I didn't really get into the whole storyline. Obviously, there's a political side of this, the national anthem, the president and the former prime minister Trudeau going at it. I didn't get into it all, and I guess Canada won last night. And
they did in overtime.
Were there any brawls this time?
I don't think so. There were like 3 brawls in the first minute or something, less than that. In the first one,
Yeah, so there. I just didn't get into the storyline. Very, very, very lightly followed it. Real quick, as I understand it, unless Patrick, you or Zach have an update, nothing new out of Jaguar camp. I would imagine by about right now, all 5 guys have had their second go-around. Wouldn't you think? They've all had their late Friday afternoon. And wouldn't you think somebody's getting the call today and saying, hey, man, it's your job if you want it? You would think they're just about to the point, right? Patrick,
I have no idea how this stuff works.
This is the second 5, the second round.
Don't ask me. I'm a stupid man. I'm a dumb athlete. Don't ask me.
It got me thinking, though, Pat. We've all been there. Normally, your rejection when you're applying for a job and you're interviewing, we've all been there. I mean, normally you get an email and you could tell the first sentence of the email, hello, Mr. Norvelle, just wanted to get back with you. You go, uh-oh, that means this is a turn-down interview. I don't think they email these level. I think they call these guys. But how about the fact that 4 of these guys are going to get that, hey, listen, Patrick, Terry Norvelle down here with the Jaguars. Hey, listen, man, you made it a really hard decision, but, right? That's the call these guys.
That's the call they get, man.
4 of these guys are getting that call probably today. Hey, listen, man.
Yeah.
You made it. I just want you to know, you made it a really tough decision on us, but we're going in a different direction, Pat. Oh, you hate those, don't you? You hate those calls.
Hey, man. You got to know it's going to happen. It's I don't know. It just sucks if you have a great interview and they tell you no, and I don't know. But it's the business of football. I tell you what, though, man, you get a head coaching job, even if you do bad, like you're set as far as being in that NFL circle, man, aren't you?
Man. You can't get out of it.
The Saints just hired Brandon Staley as their DC, and he was awful. Matt Eberflus is now the DC for the Cowboys. Yeah. Like, goodness gracious, those guys are just awful.
It's unbelievable.
Maybe they should be lifetime coordinators, like you said, instead of being head coaches.
I think it says in those head coaching first contracts you get, somewhere in the fine print it says, and by the way, now that you've gotten into the circle as a head coach, even though you've been fired, just be aware, every time you walk to your mailbox, a job offer is going to hit you in the head. They can't get out of the way of it. It's unbelievable. When you get in the loop, man, they cannot get out. Hey, have you heard Billy Napier and the Gator football program, they hired an offensive coordinator, sort of.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They upgraded a guy. They upgraded a guy in house, right?
Boy, I hope he knows what he's doing. Yeah, Russ Callaway is now the co-off. I don't know. I hope he has some responsibility, and this is just not a perfunctory Billy Napier protecting his ego, because I gotta hope that Florida is going to try some stuff different. Billy Napier came out and said he is going to call the plays, but Russ Callaway is the coordinator. He's going to coordinate the offense. What do you make of that, Pat? I don't know what to make of that.
What does that mean?
Is it just a title?
Because I don't understand, what does an offensive coordinator do in general if the head coach calls plays, and even the defensive coordinator, it's the same thing.
I mean,
if the coach is calling all the plays, I don't understand what they are. They just like looking for things. I need someone to explain that to me, Terry. I would need,
me too, man.
Press Taylor's a bad example, but he's like, hey, what do you now that coach is like he calls the play? What do you do? Make like I don't know.
I mean, is Callaway going to put the weekly game plan together, put a play sheet together, down and distance? Here are our top 5 on each down and is he going to hand that to Billy Napier and say, Napier, just choose off these? I don't know. Is it going to be something more game management where Napier's going to say, hey, Callaway, during the game, you take care of this, and this while I'm calling play? Maybe he's just going to take things off his own plate. I don't know, Pat, but, man, it sounds like he's done a whole lot of nothing by doing something. I don't know. I don't know, man. Doesn't it?
Man,
I don't know.
Just don't, Billy. We like you. Just don't waste this amazing talent and opportunity, this lifeline that you got in DJ Lagway.
Yeah.
Do not waste.
Man,
do not waste them.
I hope I'm eating my words, man. But I cannot believe.
Oh, I got a really cool Steve Spurrier picture frame signed today.
Oh, nice. For what? Your golf tournament?
Well, I'm gonna use it for my golf tournament now, or maybe I can
nice.
Sell it to a huge Gator and all that money can go to the foundation, something like that. I don't know.
That'd be nice. Did you know you were getting this? How did this happen? What happened?
No, I was at Aaron Beasley. He had an event here with NFL alumni, and I went and sold some books there and gave half the proceeds back to their foundation chapter. And a few of my buddies were there, and he said, "Hey, if I buy that, will you use this for a good cause?" I was like, I mean, yeah, okay. And then a few moments later, he bought it and gave it to me.
Well, that was nice, wasn't it?
Dude, they had some really cool. They had a really cool Bo Jackson Tecmo Bowl photo, which was pretty cool. And then they had what was the game Mike Tyson had? The Punch Out game.
Yeah, Punch Out, I think it was called. Yeah.
It had a really. I mean, they had plenty of stuff, but those two is like, oh man, those are man cave essentials. And a lot of the stuff doesn't get bid on, because I'm like, the problem is a lot of these guys look at this stuff and say, my wife won't let me keep that.
Yeah.
My wife's not gonna let me hang that up.
All right, Pat, hang tight right where you're at, just for the heck of it, just because it's cold out. We need a pick me up. On the other side, we haven't done it in a little while. Sports Dead or Alive. Patrick Young and Zach Rothrock. Sports Dead or Alive on the other side. We got to talk about Carson Beck, the Carson Beck car theft game that's going on in Miami. We'll get to that. A lot more basketball to talk about. Obviously, it's that time of year. He is Patrick Young. I'm Terry Norvelle. Back in a quick second. And note it down, top of the hour, Brent Beard joins us. Stay with us right here, folks.
At Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, we know pain and injuries can stop you from doing what you love. This is why our board-certified orthopedic specialists offer the latest in both non-surgical and surgical treatment options and create a treatment plan tailored to your unique lifestyle and goals. So, whether it is a sports injury or that nagging pain that's keeping you from doing what you love, our team has the right treatment for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jack's Beach.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play,
is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
The Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network is streaming. I'm Stuart Weber, and I'm here to teach you a nice 3-step process on how you can watch all your favorite programming, from the Brent and Austin Show every weekday 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. or the Cup Date with me. It's fantastic. We talk NASCAR. It's a great time. Wednesdays at 1 o'clock. All right, first step, easy. Download the Action News Jacks app. You probably already have it downloaded on your phone, so you might already have that one taken care of. Step 2, see that stack of pancakes up there? You click that stack of pancakes, and it's going to bring down step number 3, which is a full screen of all the different streams that you can click on, including the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 stream. You click that, the video's rocking and rolling on your mobile device. You're watching all the shows you want to, and you're having a good time. You can also do it on your smart TV with the Action News Jacks Now app. I do it on my Samsung TV at home. It's a great way to watch it on a nice, large screen for all the content. That's the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Hope you can find it.
You trust CGC to make your water great, and now you can trust CGC with your plumbing needs as well. Fast, convenient scheduling, licensed and insured. A quick call away at 904-552-1242.
You never know when you're going to have an issue with a shower, toilet, or maybe it's a sink that sometimes is easy to fix. All right, let's be honest. I'm not fixing anything. I'm totally staging this because when I have a plumbing problem, I call CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing.
Trained professionals, transparent pricing, customer satisfaction. Small problem or even a bigger issue. Maybe you need a new tankless water heater or something a bit more intricate. The experts with 25 years of experience at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing can do it all. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. That's 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
So, if you're like me, as I welcome you back to the Young and Norvelle Show right here on Action Sports Jacks, if you're like me, you probably woke up this morning, A, cold, because it's cold outside, and B, you probably, Patrick Young and Zach Rothrock, you probably woke up this morning and said, I just wonder how many days are left before the start of college football season. Zach, did you wake up like that this morning like I did?
I can't say it was necessarily the first thing I thought about.
Probably second thing on your mind.
Close.
Right? Yeah, you do have a young daughter you got to take care of, get ready for school and all. Pat, if you're still there, I know Pat did. I know Patrick Young woke up and said, how many damn days until the start of college football season? Well, I've got the answer. 183 short days, and we will be playing college football. Zach, you better go ahead and start cleaning out the cooler right now, right? Get the grill ready. 180.
Yeah, we might as well dust it off, or at least get it ready for baseball season. I don't know.
Where's your light at? You look like you're in.
There's a lot of things going on back
there. Stuff going on.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of college football, Florida has announced. How about this? The Gators have announced their entire spring calendar when practice starts. Spring practice in Gainesville starts 2 weeks from yesterday. How about that? Thursday, March 6th. There you go, Zach. Let there be light, Zach. Let there be light.
Right.
How about that? Less than 2 weeks, Florida starts spring practice on March the 6th. Have you guys heard, and I'm not sure if we still have Pat.
Not at the moment.
Okay, we'll try and get Pat back so we can play a little Dead or Alive. You know, a lot of ways, and I don't know if this is good, bad, I think it's pretty good. But a lot of ways, obviously, college football we use as an example. College sports, but college football is really now starting to mimic the NFL in a lot of ways, right? Mm-hmm. They're professional football players now. There's free agency, there's salary cap, there's a lot of stuff that's got to be. But college football, one thing that they're mimicking, and I think this is a direct correlation to, gosh darn, the more playoff you have, the more games you have, you got to take it somewhere and lop it off. The spring games are going by the wayside. It was announced, I think today, USC and somebody, Nebraska,
Texas,
USC and Texas.
Yeah.
We'd rather do NFL style OTAs than, and there's a bunch of reasons. But I think the spring football games, 5-10 years from now, will be all but eliminated. An actual game where you're really playing a game.
Right.
And I think the main reason is load man. Hell, a team like Texas played 16 games last year.
Yeah, that's part of it. Another reason I've seen floated around for why they potentially did it is because in today's transfer portal age, coaches could be looking at it and looking at ways to try to leverage players to transfer to their school.
I get that. And once we get them employees and they've got signed contracts and all, I think that tampering thing is going to start working itself out a little bit. But even if the tampering wasn't there or we had a way to corral the tampering, I see this coming. I like spring games, but I understand where they're going, man. If you're going to ask my guys to play 15 and 16 games in the regular season, I don't know if we want to even mimic another game. And, Zach, also, it's going to be increasingly hard to put on some type of game in April and know, hey, man, 20 of those guys won't even be around in a week. So you could kind of tell, I think, sometimes around your program who is flirting and who's not flirting with leaving. But I don't know if you really, if April's the right time because the portal is after the spring games. So you're like, do I really want to put all these hours into these three linemen? I don't think they're going to be around. Why am I using manpower hours on these guys?
Yeah, it's one of those things where when the whole dynamic shifts of the sport, you got to look into to changing the way that you've done things previously. I really think that they need to seriously look into that whole having the period in between the conference championships and the playoffs. They got to look into closing that off. They can't. There shouldn't be transfer. The portal should be closed during that.
Yeah, but I mean, I started out with this my theory a couple of years ago. I've never not agreed with my theory that I'm going to throw out, but the more and more it goes by, the more and more I go, damn. There's a free agent period in the NFL, but they know they work around it, right? They're not scrimmaging and practicing right now with the Minnesota Vikings don't have a scrimmage and a mini camp in 4 weeks where they go, okay, we're the Minnesota Vikings. Let's get everybody together. We're going to here's our designated practice days. Wait a minute. A lot of these guys are free. They may not even be with our team in 2 months. I keep going back to, hey, college football, the blueprint is out there. Follow the NFL's blueprint. I mean, they've navigated a lot of these issues.
Yeah, and they are, and it's definitely becoming NFL light. I mean, just like how the SEC and the Big Ten are basically becoming the AFC and the NFC. It's just training in that direction. And this is just another step in a long series of steps that are going to make it exactly like that. I don't even think it's going to be that much longer that we're going to have the 1 foot in bounds. I think it's going to eventually become 2, like very, very soon.
College is.
Yeah, college. I think it's going to become 2 feet in bounds.
Yeah, I could just about – there's only a few things that I wouldn't want. And there have been a few things that the NFL has grabbed that made their game better. The NFL for the longest time didn't have a 2-point conversion. That was terrible.
That was terrible. The NFL's always adapting, evolving, stealing, however you want to put things from the college game.
Definitely. The athletic quarterback was college first, NFL second, the 2-point conversion. A couple things the college game grabbed that made it much better. It was asinine to have ties. I mean, remember the overtime only came into the college in the 90s.
Yeah.
I mean, you had ties like crazy.
Yeah, I believe Coach Spurrier had a tie in a fairly big game. I can't remember which one it was. But yeah, I mean, it is crazy to look back in the record books and see that games ended in. That's very soccerish.
Yeah.
It is strange to see that.
Yeah, and you make a good point. You know what, in America, when we throw our glove out, our cleats out, our bat out, our basketball out, we want a winner and a loser.
Yeah, and it can't happen in the NFL. It happens about once every 2 or 3 years.
I mean, but you got to really work to have a tie in college or NFL. And then, college, I think they did I absolutely hated, and I thought it became a travesty of the game, 8 overtimes. Ole Miss finally beat Arkansas in overtime number 8. I love the way now, after that second overtime, you got to start going for 2.
Yeah, I think college football is about as close to perfect overtime rules as you can have in the sport of football.
It's better than the NFL.
I don't like the NFL overtime at all.
The college game's better.
Yeah, because you play like a miniature version of a full game, which is what it should be.
Yeah.
Whereas the NFL is just this weird, not a miniature version, but it's like a time-constrained version of a full game. And it just makes
the NFL has an issue with their overtime every year now, and it's the same issue. It's an issue like college football. They're meeting again to talk about the playoff. And I get it, the expanded playoff is new in college football, but my God, we need some consistency, right? The NFL, every year, at least the last 5 years, every year that I'm watching an NFL game, early in the year, and the game goes overtime, I go, oh, hell. What the hell's the overtime rules now? Because didn't they change this one?
They got to put it up on screen every time.
Oh, my God. You're like, my God, what is the new rule? I don't know.
They got to put it up on screen on the graphic. Speaking of, so this is somewhat random, right? But I know leading up to the Super Bowl, they did a different graphic for the scoreboard, right?
Yeah, they had.
But everyone called it a score bug.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard the term score? I've never heard this phrase. I feel like people were trolling me.
To me, my years in broadcasting and TV, the bug was either the network identifier or even like we got a bug. See the bug that's rotating with our sponsors?
Right.
To me, that's a bug. Or that could say CBS or NBC. Or
I was like, what is this? That's a scoreboard. And people are like, no, it's not a scoreboard. It's a score bug. What do you know?
They made it the Super Bowl graphic. I call it a score graphic, all right? I think what you're talking about, it was very basic.
I see.
It wasn't as sexy as you thought, but I thought it did the job.
Yeah, what I liked about it is it was very clear what the score was. It was clear how many timeouts each team had. There's some of them I can't tell how many. I think it's ESPN's. I have a hard time deciphering how many timeouts are left.
Boy,
I don't like that.
You hit it. You hit it on the head. When you watch a bunch of sports like we do on a bunch of different networks, and they all have the same concept, but they have different graphic builds. There are times early in games, basketball, I'll go, okay, where the hell's the shot clock? Okay, wait a minute.
I don't know where any of that is.
Same thing. You'll watch a certain game and you'll go, okay, I wonder does Georgia have any time? Well, hell, where are the timeouts? Well, yeah, because they're not uniformed, and sometimes you got to hunt them down. It's hard to, you're trying to glance up there, right? The clock's moving, the guy's dribbling.
Yeah.
You're like, what's the shot? Where is the shot clock? And it's hidden in there sometimes.
Yeah, it feels like the fancier they try to make it, the tougher it is.
Same with baseball. And I know we all don't watch as much, but when I watch a little bit of MLB or college, and you start watching different networks, I'll be watching Florida baseball, and I'll go, do they have anybody on base? How many out? Where's the outs? Oh, wait a minute. Do those 3 dots in the bases, does that mean they're empty or there's 3 guys on?
Oh, yeah, it's hard to tell if it's like highlighted white versus highlighted black if someone's on it. Yeah.
And again, different networks, they've got the same concept graphic, but they all use their own little spin.
Yeah.
They all use their own little spin.
Yeah, you got to put your fun little, you got to put like the animated Fox guys on there and stuff like that.
Well, what'd you make of, and I don't want to make fun of thievery, but what'd you make of the news that came out that Carson Beck and his girlfriend, like 2 nights ago, they had 3 of their cars stolen. Beck had 2 of his cars stolen, and the girlfriend had 1 car stolen. Did you hear that story?
I did, actually, yeah.
The Carson Beck's Lamborghini stolen. His Mercedes, which I can't even believe I'm saying that about Carson Beck. They found his Mercedes, I think, down in Miami. I think the Lambo's still out there. It's going to be hard to find a Lambo down in South Beach. There's a bunch of Lambos down there.
It is. It is.
Be a little bit easier on the west side if you see a Lambo driving around. You go, hey, I think that's a hot Lambo. You had to chuckle though when you saw, basically, hey Carson, welcome to Miami, my man.
I mean, that's kind of one of those things. I mean, it's I don't know what to say. It's expected, but I mean, you're publicly getting all this money and publicly getting all of these endorsements, and then publicly showing where you live, like when you live in your social media.
Yeah.
And so you become a target for things of that nature. And I'm sorry that I was a little bit distracted while you were talking about that. I actually just
Okay.
The news has broken since we've been on air. We honestly probably should have addressed this already. The Jaguars did finally announce they have hired their general manager.
Who do we have? Go ahead and break it.
They have hired James Gladstone.
There we go. I just see it now. Jaguars tab Rams James Gladstone as new general manager. So, as we talked about in the first hour here, I guess 4 of those other calls went out. Hey, Zach. Hey, yeah, Terry with the Jaguars. Hey, listen, man, you made it a really tough decision, but we went a different direction. So James Gladstone, let's read a little bit about him.
He's one of the ones. You remember I said they interviewed several guys who were kind of in the Sean McVay, that type of like fraternity, the Kyle Shanahans, etc. So James Gladstone he's been on the Rams coaching staff. He was their director of scouting personnel. And so I really think that he and Cohen, they're going to see things kind of on the same level as far as team building, roster building. And I mean, I think it's from a conceptual standpoint, it's exactly the type of hire that I would be excited about for the Jaguars moving forward.
And, to be fair, none of us knew anything about these guys, really.
It's hard to. I mean,
they weren't even, none of the 5. And let's credit Mike Duraco with ESPN, because I'm reading his story here. So I want to give him a little credit. I know D-Rock, he's a super guy, works hard. But, yeah, these 5 guys, none of them were even GMs before, number 1 GMs. So they were just names. But Gladstone looks like they stay with the youth. He's 34, it looks like, according to this story. From the, as you said, the Rams tree, right? He's off the Rams tree. And, the Jaguars, they have stayed with – the NFL is in this real – kick of hiring young head coaches, right? We're in a very young era of head coaches. The Jaguars have taken a step further. Their entire decision-making coaching staff, it's young, man. It is young. Not just the head coach, man. You got 29-year-old OC. You got 34-year-old general manager. You got 42-year-old – that's your grizzled veteran, 42-year-old DC, right?
Yeah, I mean, but
it's young, man. It's young.
That's the exciting and best approach I think you can take because I mean, as you've mentioned before, and I think there's definitely some truth to it. You got to have some self-awareness when you're the Jaguars. You got to realize that it's going to be hard for you to hire the Deion Sanders-esque candidate.
Yeah,
it's going to be hard for you to get the A1 guy. It's hard for you to even get the Ben Johnson, like the number 1 guy.
Really is.
But you can get a guy like Liam Cohen who has, by all accounts, all the same type of credentials that Ben Johnson has. It's just that he wasn't part of that Lions team. He wasn't featured on every talk show. He wasn't shown on camera every single week like that. But he's still that same type of coach and that same type of prospect. And you let him fill out a staff with guys who have similar traits, similar ages, and they're going to see the game in a similar way.
Yeah.
And that is how you could allow yourself to eventually get to a place where you have the most coveted staff and the most coveted guys that everyone.
You do open yourself up, though. Year 1, they're going to be fine. I think there's definitely a life raft is year 1. I mean, I don't think anybody with any modicum of put your fan hat away, I don't think they expect 12, 13, 14 wins. I think year 1 is not a throwaway year, but starting in year 2, if this doesn't work, you've opened yourself up. What's the easy argument now? If it doesn't work year 2, the easy, well, my God, they got a kiddie staff. My God, they don't have anybody with experience. Right? I mean, nobody's been a coordinator, nobody's been a head coach, and they're all 45 and under. And I throw Baselli in there. Baselli is a 52-year-old rookie executive, right? Front office executive. I mean,
correct.
They have opened themselves up. But to back it up to what you just said, if every one of these hires, the people in that building down there feel like they hired the best guy, well, be damned with his birth certificate then. Okay, they just happen to be 34.
Yeah, at the end of the day, that's all that matters is can the guy get the job done or can he not? And I believe we have one Patrick Young joining the call with us.
All right, Pat. So Jaguars finally, James Gladstone is the new GM, according to Mike Duraco and the boys down that cover the Jags. So that, I would imagine. Do you think, Patrick, when they brought these 5, I'm being serious here for a minute, I think the combine starts on the 24th, which is Monday.
Yeah.
I wonder if when the Jaguars brought these 5 guys back for this week's second round, did they say, hey, bring a bag? Because I don't know if you got a lot of time. Gladstone, he's probably going to go straight to the combine on Monday, Monday.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I wonder if they told all these guys, hey, bring enough clothing for a week to be on the road for a week, because whoever we pick is probably not going to go back home. I bet they did.
Nah, I'm sure the Jags had that bag of gear
probably
ready for whoever. They already had their sizes and everything, and just hey, this is your bag because you ain't leaving.
Yeah, boy, it's a
it's got a new toothbrush and deodorant in there for you too.
No doubt. It's a young staff, though. Everything about this is young. And I know the NFL head coach hires have gone young, but the Jags' entire staff is young, man. You got 39-year-old head coach, 29-year-old coordinator, 42-year-old coordinator, 34-year-old general manager now, and I throw Baselli in there. Baselli's a 52-year-old rookie executive. Boy, I hope they got the right guys. Be damned with the birth certificate. But they're young, man.
Hey, but this is the question. How many years do you give these guys if they're struggling? How many years to give a fair shot?
Yeah, and
like
if it gets sideways,
9-8. Let's say 3 seasons of 9-8, 7-10.
Yeah.
12-5. No playoff wins.
If
playoff wins.
If by year 2 it's not working, there's an easy target. Well, you got a kiddie staff. What'd you expect? You hired a bunch of kids, right? So there is an easy target out there, right? If they don't win by year, I think year one.
The 29-year-old.
Yeah, I think year one is I'm not going to say a throwaway year, but this coming year is get your ducks in a row, dot your I's, cross your T's. I don't think you don't judge them in year one, do you? I don't think it'd be fair. I think they got a lot of holes to fill. You know?
Wasn't there just the rookie head coach? Who's a rookie head coach? D'Amico Ryans had a good year.
Yeah, he had a good year.
His first year. I'm trying to think who else as a rookie, first-time head coach.
I think they are given some rope this first year. I think this Jaguar franchise, there's a lot of rebuilding that's got to happen. I think they're fine. Year 2, if they don't start stacking wins year 2, the point I'm trying to make is, man, the easy target is, well, damn, what do you expect? They hired a bunch of kids. Nobody had any experience.
I don't agree with that being the main argument, because at that point you'd say Trevor is not it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that
Trevor.
That's what's going to
after year 5. This is all we got. We overpaid this man.
Yeah. We'll see, but I'm glad they got this. It was time to put they now need to know who's on their team, and I don't mean just players, and they do now. All the positions are filled, right? All the on-field staff is filled. Your general manager, your assistant to the whatever Baselli, your head coach. It's time now. Go start putting this thing together now. It's time. I'm glad this is wrapped up. And I would imagine Jaguar Nation's glad this is wrapped up, right? They needed.
Let's see how we started with this draft. Let's see what we do with this draft, man.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, Pat, you guys ready for some sports dead or alive? We hadn't done it in a while. Here we go. You ready?
Let's go.
All right, I can see Zach.
I thought I missed it.
No, I can. There's Zach.
I'm here.
We can see you, Pat, so we know you're not cheating. Here's what we do. I come up with a sports personality. I give you a little background, and you guys, without looking up, have to tell me, is said person dead or alive? Okay, this is not necessarily an athlete as much as a sportsman, okay?
All right.
All right, and who wants to go first? I'm going to toss a coin in the air. Patrick, call it in the air. Heads or tails?
Tails.
All right, you go first, Pat. It is tails. See there?
Okay.
Zach? Is that right there? Zach?
That's fair.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, this is more of a sportsman, and I saw this guy. I'm not, and this is an outdoorsman, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not much of an outdoorsman, but this guy, you know the name, very famous outdoorsman for his art. Patrick Young, I ask you, Guy Harvey, you see the artist Guy Harvey. You see his stuff everywhere. Outdoors, fishing portraits and stuff. Is Guy Harvey dead or alive, Patrick Young?
Dead.
We got a D. Zach Rothrock, you know who we're talking about. You see that art and those T-shirts everywhere. Outdoorsmen, like fishing, sailfish. He's an artist.
Right.
Guy Harvey, very famous.
You've seen them, bro. They're everywhere.
Yeah, you've seen Guy Harvey.
Yeah, sure.
Dead or alive, Guy Harvey.
I'm going to say he's alive. Why not?
Well, I'll tell you one thing.
He's not dead yet.
I'll tell you one thing. Look for your mail, Zach. You're probably going to get a big gift bag because you are correct. Guy Harvey is still alive, Patrick Young. He's not dead. He is 69 years old.
That's it, man. He's filthy rich.
69, and you've seen that work, right? I mean, Guy Harvey stuff. He's an outdoorsman that is an artist, right? And he sells T-shirts like crazy. You've seen that, right? Zach, please, God,
how did
you see?
I gotta look into the story of like how it started.
I don't know.
I gotta look into
I
it.
think I've seen he does like there's like a swordfish.
Yeah.
Type deal.
And if you
He does a bunch of fish.
Yeah, and if you were to go to like Bass Pro Shop, I think his stuff is everywhere, right? And yeah,
without a doubt.
I don't know how he got started, but I happened to see his name and I go, that'll be a good Dead or Alive. 69 years old, he's made a lot of money as a outdoors artist, kind of, right?
All right.
Outdoorsman artist. Guy Harvey is still alive. How about that?
Guy Fieri.
How about
Only
that?
69.
Also.
Guy Fieri, is he the food guy?
Yeah, that looks.
Yeah.
That looks like
With the French tips, always has. There's no way he actually loves that haircut. It's his persona, so he just has to do it.
And he's been here before.
Oh, it's terrible.
He's been at 3 or 4 Jacksonville restaurants. I know he's been at Colhane's. His show has been at Colhane's a couple times.
Really?
Did you know
That's
that?
cool.
Yeah. He's the one that goes around and samples the food, right?
Yeah, it does the diners drives.
Yeah,
Dives.
and he drives the red car, and like Pat said, he's known for his.
I love the guy. I love Man vs. Food, the guy that drives around and tries to beat all those contests.
Is he still alive? That guy?
Man,
there's no way.
Yeah, I think he's kicking.
He eats all the food.
There's no way.
Now the other show is that John Tapper, and he goes in and fixes the restaurants and he yells at people. That guy.
Oh, Bar Rescue.
Bar Rescue.
My dad loves that show.
That's been in Jacksonville a couple times too.
That dude's Italian, right?
Yeah. Oh man. All he does is go in.
Yeah.
First 12 minutes, he yells at everybody, goes to commercial break, and they all make up, and they all kiss and hug, and everything's gonna be fine. His show has been filmed here 3 or 4 times at different places.
That's Gordon Ramsay. Really?
Yeah. I know he did.
I'd love to know which places those were.
He went.
And if it actually really benefited that business.
He went out to there's an old bar on Mayport Road. It's still there. It's famous. It's just it's a dive, but I mean it's a military Cap Nody's. He was at Cap Nody's once or twice. I know that for a fact.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, Cap
Never
Nody's.
heard of that
and
one.
it made the show. It made the national show. Yeah, good old Cap Nody's. Yeah, they still you can still fire up a dart out there, boy. They don't worry about no food, I don't think. It's more brown whiskey and get the darts ready. Right, Pat?
Man, I get that. That's that instant secondhand smoke. You just know, man, like your clothes are gonna need to get aired out.
Oh man, I hate that. Don't you? You go someplace that everybody's smoking and you
Dude,
leave. Ooh.
That's Europe, man. When I played basketball overseas, every single city I went out at, whether it was Turkey, whether it was Greece, Italy, just like, golly, man.
So it's still
nonstop in a closed space,
and it's still very prevalent, right? Smoking, like over here, we got the health kick and all, and smoking's not as cool as it used to be. Is smoking still cool in Europe?
And it's a great addiction, and it's a huge part of lifestyle. It's really hard to quit, man. Bro, sorry, Terry. I keep calling you bro. You are my bro. But
I'm your bro. I'm fine with that.
You are my bro. On the cigarette boxes in Europe, there's pictures of like some really graphic things when it comes to like how smoking affects your body, and like I don't think it deters anybody.
Really, but that's what
sadly
the government still wants you to, at least if you're a cigarette company, at least have that to. Yeah,
like it'll talk about infertility or throat cancer or something, and have like a crazy picture of it on there, and you're just like, gosh.
Yeah.
Oof.
That's the trade-off. They say we're going to let you sell it, but you at least got to put something on there for the public.
Hey, you had this as this theory not too long ago that we're going to see tobacco get allowed to advertise again.
I hate smoking, don't want to smoke, never have smoked. But why are they, if you can put alcohol, why is tobacco still the scourge of the advertising earth in America? I don't get it. I don't think it's fair. I don't want smoke. I don't want anybody smoking near me. But don't you agree? I mean, hell, you got gambling and alcohol. Why is that got ruled out in like the early 70s?
Shoot, if you're at the casino.
No, I'm just saying, if gambling and alcohol are prevalent, why is the tobacco's
missing out on a lot of money. A lot of money.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, they made a law or proposed one that was going to make it where anytime you saw anyone smoke a cigarette in a film, they were going to make that film rated R, which would mean that 101 Dalmatians would have to be rated R because Cruella de Vil was always smoking the cigarette.
Because she had a big
was that a real? That's not a real theory.
Well,
that's
it
not
was just
real.
something got proposed that didn't actually happen, but at one point it was on the table.
Yeah. She had that Betty Davis like extended cigarette thing, right?
Yeah.
The fancy woman does that.
I like those things.
I mean, I'll be honest, when I was a kid and I saw that, I really wanted to try that thing.
That's class,
That's a
man.
real
Right? I did too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you like that, huh?
I like it.
Yeah,
hey,
I did as well.
Great drop in there, Zach. That was a great drop. I love it. I forgot. Cruella de Vil, she had that long Betty Davis thing, right?
Yeah.
Man, smoking was something.
Hey, have you seen the Cruella that just came out, that movie?
No, is it racy?
Oh, dude, it's so good.
Is it?
It's
yeah, it's almost like the
no.
Joker movie, but with her.
No?
It's PG-13. It's
Oh,
PG-13.
Okay. All right, Pat, we're going to have Brent
It's really
Beard.
good, man. It's
We're gonna
really
have Brent
good.
Beard, hour number 2, but I want to bring up something, college basketball. I used to rail on this this quote-unquote super fan, and I don't know why I haven't railed on this super fan the last 10 years. You know who really drove me crazy? Because the only time you ever saw her courtside was when Kentucky is really good, she's everywhere. And Kentucky hasn't been winning national titles. Whatever happened to Ashley Judd? I thought she was this great fan for Kentucky. She's only a fan when Kentucky's 38-1 or 39-2. And when, right? And I looked it up. It ain't like she's dead. Where's she at? Well, Kentucky hadn't been. It's easy to be a super fan, Pat, when your team's Julius Randle's 38-1, right? She was everywhere when they were going to the Final Four. Where the hell is she?
What is she famous for?
Actress, but she loves Kentucky. She's a Kentucky basketball fan. And when they're winning,
Ashley Judd.
You remember her?
What was she in?
I don't know if she's had a huge hit, but she was
Zach.
Pretty girl. Her sisters were the Judd's country act, and she was the third acting pretty girl in the family. Zach, you remember Ashley Judd when they're winning? I hadn't seen Ashley Judd in 10 years because Kentucky's been just average. What the hell is she?
Yeah, I mean, I had to look up a few movies that she was in. It's a bunch of like 90s type action movies, Time to Kill, etc.
Yeah, she was in that, which is a good movie. She was in one. And
I honestly thought
she married a very famous Formula One driver, and I think they got divorced, but a very famous driver. But it just, I don't know why. I was watching Kentucky basketball the other night, and I go, "Where's Ashley Judd? She's only around when they're 38-1." Pat, I hate those kind of fans, by the way. You know, hey, at least a guy like Matthew McConaughey, I've seen him on the Texas sidelines when Texas is 5-5, 6-6, right?
Yeah, he's been roaming for a while.
Yeah, he's there when they're bad. This Ashley, I don't know. I divert and I digress, Patrick. I'm sorry.
I was picturing Ashley Tisdale from.
Who's Ashley Tisdale? She's a
from High School
Musketeer.
High School Musical.
Yeah. No, Ashley.
Oh wow, yeah, High School Musical.
Yeah, High School Musical. All right, Pat. How's your weekend shaping up? What do you got? A lot of basketball to watch. A lot of basketball, Pat. To watch?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good
Yes.
day
And
good day tomorrow.
some relaxation, maybe. I got to trap. Man, my schedule changes next week.
What's going on?
I work Tuesday, come back Wednesday, fly back out Friday to do the whole Saturday,
Oh, nice.
And then the following Saturday, that'll be the last regular season weekend.
Isn't that hard to believe? 2 more weekends of
Yeah.
regular season. Pat, as we
2 more weekends.
As we wrap up hour number 1, we'll have Brent Beard. We'll let you go, Pat. I like Florida's position right now. Florida can kick back tomorrow. I think they're going to win. They're going to go to LSU and win, right? I think they're going to win that game. They should win that game. I like the way
Yeah, they should.
Hey, Florida gets to kick back. Tennessee plays at A&M. Kentucky is at Alabama, and Florida gets to kind of kick back, and hopefully Alabama can lose another game. Maybe Auburn can lose a game somewhere. I like Florida's chances the Saturday and midweek next week. I think Florida can kick back. And
I think Florida. Hey man, just for Florida, just take care of business.
Yeah,
because an SEC regular season championship will be great, but we really want this team to have that 1 seed.
I know.
And
makes it a lot easier.
Just a great path to get it done, man.
I predict, and I promise I'll let you go. 2 things for you, Pat. Keep an eye on Big Blue. They're stealing cars. They stole Carson Beck's Lamborghini got stolen and his Mercedes 2 nights ago. Keep an eye on Big Blue, okay? I know they're gonna want to steal your car.
He got 2 cars stolen?
And his girlfriend. They got 3 cars stolen in one night. His girlfriend had her car stolen. Hey, welcome to Miami, Carson Beck. Pat, I predict this too. Get ready. Your phone is about to start blowing up. I hope you know. I'm being dead serious, and I hope you know this. Because when selections, people are going to want to call Pat Young about the last Florida team that made the Final Four. They're going to call you. I'm telling you, because that's going to be one of the stories going into March Madness. Especially if Florida makes the Final Four, you better watch it. Your phone's going to blow up. Everybody's going to want to talk to Patrick Young about that, right? You're the last team that made it to the Final Four, right?
I'm cool with that. That sounds like a plan. Yeah, we are.
You'll do good. You'll do good. But get ready, because there's your storyline, particularly if Florida gets to the Final Four. Who was the last Florida team? Oh, Pat Young's in the meeting. They're going to call you. Everybody's going to want you on their show, Pat. Everybody, be ready. You're ready.
Oh, yeah.
You're ready. We've groomed.
That's exciting. I wasn't thinking about that, but yeah,
you're going to blow
exciting.
Up.
Thanks, Terry.
You're going to blow up. It's going to be good for you. It's going to be real good for you. All right, Pat, take the rest of the day off. I got Brent Beard coming on. I know you got your Friday. Looking forward to kicking. Stay warm, man. It's going to be cold tonight, man. It's going to be cold. Stay warm, Pat.
I will. The heater will be on.
All right, brother. We'll talk We'll talk about everything this weekend on Monday. How's that?
All right, sounds good.
All right, brother, that is our main man, Patrick Young. Boy, he's busy this time of year. He loves it. SEC Network duties, our show. And, Zach, you agree with me. He's going to be busy if Florida gets to the Final Four. Everybody in the world is going to be calling Pat Young.
I could foresee multiple different shows potentially hitting up his phone line, trying to have him on as a guest. Yeah.
I think national people. I think he'll be a national celebrity.
Oh yeah.
And Zach, are you prepared? I think we've prepared him well. You and I, right? We got to push him out of the nest. I think we prepared him well for this.
I don't know how much credit I want to take for that, but you can if you want to.
Me either. I think the SEC Network. I think Pat was pretty good when he started this show. So
yeah.
All right, let's take a break. Brent Beard on the other side. We'll talk about, as I said, if you haven't heard, Florida has announced all their spring practice dates, including when they start. Whew! You won't believe how quickly Florida is going to start spring practice 2 weeks from yesterday. Brent Beard joins us for hour number 2. The Young and Norvelle Show continues on a cold Friday. We're back on the Action Sports Jacks Network after this quick timeout.
For those dealing with pain from a sports injury, arthritis, or spine condition, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists offers innovative new non-surgical options. Our regenerative medicine treatments, including platelet-rich plasma and other regenerative treatments, use your body's own restorative cells to aid in treating injuries. These procedures are performed in our offices and typically require minimal downtime. If you want to get back to doing what you love, our regenerative treatment options may be right for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jack's Beach.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
Hey everyone, Olivia Tasley here from Action Sports Jacks to tell you all the different ways you can watch our new 24/7 network. 3 easy steps. You don't even need a pen and paper to write it down. Step number 1, download the app. Search Action News Jacks in your app store either on your phone or your smart TV. Then, once you're on the app, click on that little drop-down menu in the upper left-hand corner with the 3 little lines. That'll show you these options, and boom, right here, click Action Sports Jacks 24/7, and you will be brought to our continuous stream channel. That app can be accessed through all these different platforms, whether you have Roku, Fire TV, Smart TV, Apple TV, or Google TV. You can find our app. Now, if you don't have access to the app, don't worry. We still got you covered. We're across all social media platforms from Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Twitch. We have a podcast channel. Plus, check out our short reels on our TikTok. Action Sports Jacks 24/7. It's on all the time and everywhere.
It's a new logo, new branding. With Bold City Heating and Air, it's an old school approach. One of the few locally owned and operated air conditioning businesses left in Jacksonville. It's hot, Florida in the summer. You can't do much to avoid it, but you can keep cool with Bold City Heating and Air. It's every customer counts kind of service, from when these trucks have pulled up to my home over the last couple of years and when they pull into your driveway as well. From communication to pricing to the actual service, everyone at Bold City Heating and Air cares about you. You know who's coming to your house. You know they will be well trained, and they will respect your home. Air conditioning convenience at boldcityac.com. Stay cool while it gets hot. Bold City Heating and Air can help. Don't get caught sweating all summer. boldcityac.com, and they have financing to help. New systems starting at $110 a month and $50 off any repairs. Stay safe, stay comfortable with Bold City Heating and Air at boldcityac.com. Homegrown in your hometown.
All right, let's make sure we get the news of the day around here. The big news is the Jacksonville Jaguars now do have a general manager. They went ahead and named James Gladstone. He is a 34-year-old, worked in the front office with the Rams. So the big news is 4 thank you but no thank you phone calls were made, and the 5th, I guess, or the first probably went out to James Gladstone. He is your new Jacksonville Jaguar general manager. Want to get that out as we welcome Brent Baird, our buddy Brent, to take us home here in the second hour. Mr. Baird, I like your shirt there, man. It's colorful.
Thank you. Yeah.
You staying
probably
warm?
would have gone well on Valentine's Day, too.
Yeah, you're a week late. You're just 1 week late.
Yeah,
You're there.
Yeah, but guys are late for things like that. You mentioned Matthew McConaughey a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
He actually has a job in Texas. He's like the
nice ambassador kind of.
He's like the minister of culture for for this.
Well, I have picked at I've picked at Ashley Judd for years. I can't stand that type of fan. She's the classic. Back when Calipari had it going, they were 38. They were 39-2 and won the national title. They were 30. Yeah. Remember Julius Randle in that group? They went like 38-0 and lost to Wisconsin or somebody at the end. You couldn't watch a minute without her everywhere.
Oh yeah.
But when they're getting beat in the second round and they're not dominating college, she's nowhere. Now some people said some of the Kentucky fan base has had issues with her political stance. She may not be on the political side, but anyway, Ashley Judd. I was watching Kentucky. Yeah. I go, where's that? Hey, Ashley, are you only a fan when they're in the Final Four?
Yeah, Ashley hasn't done a whole lot as of late. I remember she did a decent movie with Tommy Lee Jones years ago.
Uh-huh.
And she was very popular for a while.
Yeah.
Probably the fan, the one fan that people either grew tired of her or they just loved her was the nun.
Oh yeah.
Sister Jean. Yes.
Yeah, Sister Jean, and I think Sister Jean's still with us. I think she's still about $104, about 104.
Yep, I think you're right.
And,
yes.
She's having a little better time than Porter Moser. That was her coach, right?
Yeah.
And he parlayed that run into the Oklahoma job, but
did.
Boy, Oklahoma's about to play themselves out.
They are.
Brent Beard, I want you to take care of your car. You know, they're stealing high performance cars in the state. How about Carson Beck getting his Lambo and his Benz stolen the other night?
Yeah, boy, what a now did you buy that? Did you buy both those with cash, Terry, or both of those or both those leased cars? I would be curious to know that.
And I know he got a lot of money and he went out and bought him a Lambo, but think about Carson Beck's probably what, 22, 23, maybe 24. He's under 25 years old. Imagine the insurance payments for a Lamborghini. You know, a young kid, a young male.
Yes.
Your insurance is much higher than a young female.
It is. Yes. No question.
What is your insurance payment if you're a 24-year-old male driving a Lamborghini? It's got to be $1,000 a month. Isn't it?
Oh yeah. Listen. Oh yeah. It'd be more than your car payment.
You would think. You would definitely think. Hey man, we talk a lot of Gator basketball. We can talk Gator basketball. I think they're the best team in the country. Let's talk Alabama. Let's talk Alabama right now. 2-game slide, and Alabama's got a daunting schedule the last 5. Brent, is there concern if this thing gets going sideways? Obviously, they're going to be a tournament. They're a tournament team, but if Bama doesn't need to lose 5 of the last 6 going into postseason play. They'll drop down. I mean, they need to get a hold of this thing, don't they? Alabama.
They do. They've got issues, and people are just saying, well, they're still on the one line. They'll be okay. Well, truthfully, they may not be okay. I mean, they've got Kentucky on Saturday, who they'll beat. Kentucky's as undisciplined as Alabama is, so that will give Alabama. But again, the game's in Tuscaloosa, which frankly is good and bad for whatever reason. And we've said this many times, they just simply cannot shoot the basketball in their own gym.
No.
And I don't understand that. Then next week they've got Mississippi State, and that will be Alabama won in Starkville, and it was a street brawl.
Yeah.
And then after that, the real problem they've got Florida, Tennessee, and Auburn.
Yeah,
and the only team out of that 3 that I think they'll beat is Tennessee.
Yeah, they go their final 3 at Tennessee, Florida at home, at Auburn, and according to the rankings that are still out right now, Alabama will close with number 6, number 2, and number 1.
That's right. Oh yeah. You're either going to work past your problems or you're going to look. I think some of this going into the Auburn game was some of it's entitlement that they were number 1. Everybody loved them.
Yeah.
They thought they were going back to the Final Four again, and all they had to do was show up in their uniform.
Yeah.
And that is not the case. Their real problem right now is. And I heard Wimp Sanderson say this about the Omar Godfrey team one time, and it's true for this team, is they either will not or cannot play defense.
Yeah, I mean, they gave up 110 the other night. And I get it. Alabama scores a lot. When you score a lot, your games are going to be high scoring probably. But 110 is alarming, and they've given up 90s and 100s too many times this year.
Right.
Too many times.
Oh yeah. Well, and the other problem is that the Auburn got off to a 9-0 lead, and then the other night Missouri gets off to a 12-0 lead.
12-0.
And you understand how that works. when you get behind like that, Terry, you basically spend the rest of the game catching up. And they could not do it.
You really do. The other concerning thing was the other night, Alabama, they get in the 90s, and Sears is in the 30s.
Yes.
And they still lose.
Yes.
So Sears found his scoring touch. But I'll use Walter Clayton and Florida as an example. Certainly Sears is your bell cow. He's your guy that can go score for you. Clayton can go score for you. You don't necessarily want them scoring 33, 34, 35.
No.
Think about it. I know this off the top of my head. Walter Clayton's 2 highest point totals as a Gator in his career are both losses. He scored. He went nuts and scored like 35 in the loss to Colorado, and he scored 30-something this year and they lost. So there's kind of a – does that make sense? You want your guy to score a lot if you're your main man, but you don't want him to score 40.
Right. No, you don't.
Nobody else is going to score probably.
No. And see, the Missouri had a guy inside named Mitchell.
Oh, he was a beast.
He got a career high also. And look, Missouri deserves some credit for this too. Missouri right now is probably, Terry, a top 10 team.
They are.
I mean, they are.
And their guy's got to win Coach of the Year. He made the top 15 today. Dennis Gates has got to win Coach of the Year, being 0-18 last year.
Yes, no question about that. So here's my concern for Alabama, the way they're playing now. Terry, if they don't get it together, that they could be a very disappointing one and done. In other words, they'll win the first game because they'll just simply outscore UCCCC Connecticut or something like that. And then they get in the second game and they'll play a team like they had trouble with a couple of years ago, San Diego State or something like that. They're all seniors and they run this motion offense. And they start playing defense as soon as they get off the bus. And the way Alabama's playing right now, they would struggle beating a team like that.
Yeah, definitely. We could come back to basketball. I want to make sure we get to football. I want to talk about Florida, their Final Five. I think if they go 4-1, they're in a really good spot. But what do you make? I mean, Gator Nation is a buzz right now. Billy Napier names Russ Callaway as the official, sorta, kinda offensive coordinator, kind of a promotion. Brett, your 3,000 miles away view of this thing, just like me, do you think it's perfunctory? Do you think Napier will? I know he said Napier's still going to call the actual plays. But do you think Napier's going to put stuff on his plate? Billy Callaway, that is. Is he going to give him some? You put the plan together. You handle the game management. What do you think this is? Is this a real hire? Is it a fake hire? What is it?
I think it's probably a reward for Callaway, and it may be in some ways an attempt, and I get it, to get people off his back. But again, to your point, is he going to actually let him in some situations call plays? And we may never know that. It is a reality. Now, I've heard, like you have, that Callaway called some of the plays last year. We don't know. That's just the reality of it. So now I still haven't heard anything about special teams coordinator, which is needed as well.
Who needs one? Who needs one? They've only done it for 160 years in college, 165 years in college football. Who needs one? I would feel better though and Napier can do what he wants. He's the head coach. He makes the calls. He keeps information in, lets it out, whatever. I would feel better though if it came out and he said Callaway's putting the plan together each week on Friday. Each week on Friday, either in the team hotel. He's going to present me with what he thinks. Here are our situational top 3 plays for each situation. He's putting that together. I would feel better if Napier said, I have given him veto power. If he hears me sending a play, he's got some veto power. He didn't have it last year, maybe.
Yeah.
Am I going to hand game management with regard to timeouts, fourth down? I would feel better if he came out and said, here are some of the responsibilities Callaway's going to get and take off my plate.
Yeah.
I would be okay with that. I still got to see it. I'm not okay with Billy Napier just thinking he got it figured out in year now 8. That's going to scare me.
Yeah, I understand that, and that just be something you tell the chicken crowd in the spring when you go and speak to the boosters. Now, let me ask you this, Terry: do we have any clearer situation necessarily with the defensive staff as we do the offensive staff right now? I know. I mean, this is not stuff that keeps Gator fans up at night. But I mean, if you have, certainly let me know. But I haven't heard a lot of or seen organizational charge for this defense either.
I'm just flying blind here like you are. It looks like Ron Roberts is the 100% D coordinator now. No real co-coordinator. Yeah. Some of the new names. This guy Bala comes in from Washington, I guess.
He was in Alabama for a while. Yeah,
he's going to be somewhere on the defensive side. Vinny Sunseri is going to be somewhere in the secondary.
Right.
But yeah, he to be as mega organized as he appears to be, Napier, I'm saying, they're less than 2 weeks from spring practice. It's 2 weeks from yesterday.
Right.
March 6th they open up.
Yeah.
And you would think, I mean, it's not the combination of Fort Knox. You'd think he'd send out an itinerary of roles and responsibilities. I don't know. Brent, speaking of spring football, the Gators released their schedule. They start 2 weeks from yesterday, March 6th. Florida will have a spring game. It appears the spring games are going to go the way of the NFL. They don't have spring games. They've got more OTAs. The spring game just looks like it looks like momentum's building that I don't know if we have spring games in 5 years.
Yeah, and Steve Sarkisian announced this week that Texas is not having a spring game. I think that, Terry, I'm really against that. I mean, you and I both know, and we love coaches, but they're very paranoid. And this just really gives them an opportunity not to show anything. But look, you and I both know if you want tape on the guy, you can get it. There's tape out there on what, Terry, on Huddle,
totally agree.
On social media.
Yep.
And if you look hard enough, you can find it. And here's my problem with not having a spring game is now what, look, I know Texas and the city of Austin has a lot of money, but at the same time, to me, what you're depriving your fan base of is a couple nights in a hotel.
Yeah.
It helps your restaurants. That they buy souvenirs and they go all around campus.
Yeah.
To me, you've got to have something for your fan base that they buy tickets. They're buying more. They're spending more money on buying tickets, and you're taking something else away.
And staying with college football, the backbone of college football are small towns.
Yes. Yes.
NFL's big town.
Yes.
Okay. Chicago, LA, New York, Dallas, Miami. You get it. The NFL pro sports, the big boys are big. College football is small town USA. The Villes, Gainesville, Starkville, Tuscaloosa. You just go on and on. Those little towns, if you figure out a way to get an extra 45,000 people into those small towns for a day.
Yeah, absolutely.
That pizza shop is loving life.
Sure it is.
That local gas station, that ice cream store, that hamburger joint, that's nice for those little towns.
Oh, it's like Christmas for them, frankly.
Yeah.
To go along with that. So I really do. I think universities are doing their fan base a disservice. I was on with Ryan Fowler a few minutes ago and did a segment with him, and the first thing he said to me, he said, I just got a call from a guy who's had season tickets since 1965, and he's really considering giving up those tickets. Yeah. And look, this is a discussion on another show necessarily to flesh this out, but Terry, there's something wrong with that. I mean, when you've been having tickets for 50 years and you're considering giving those up, what is that? What message is that giving to you to the university that you love to do that? But I get it in some ways. I really do.
I think the excuse there's two main excuses. You hit one, or reasons. I shouldn't say excuse, but I think there's two reasons. I'm gonna bring up the second one. I think the coaches aren't saying this second one. I think you're right about some of these coaches are saying, well, we're basically showing off our girlfriend to the other guys. Yeah,
right.
I get that. We're showing off our players, and I get that to a degree. I also think following the NFL model, I think a lot of these coaches, by the time spring's finishing, and if you've got a game, you've probably got a pretty good idea. And there's going to be 20 guys that leave your program. You've probably got a pretty good idea, and there's going to be a few surprises you don't want to leave. And I don't necessarily think you want to run out your spring game knowing, well, I don't really want to even – if I don't dress these guys and put them in a corner, everybody's going to know. But if I don't have a game, I don't have to hide them. I think there's some – I don't want to waste the manpower hours on 20 guys I know that aren't even going to be here. I don't want to run them on the field.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's really what's going on. But that's like I say, look, you don't have to showcase all these guys. I mean, all you need to do is give them a few carries and be done with it. But I still think that these schools owe it to their fans to do. And Ole Miss did something, that basically had sack races and relay races last year. That's better than nothing.
And you know what? If the coaches really want to get rid of these spring games, they do have one really good fallback, quote unquote, excuse. And I buy it a little bit. I think it's load management. I think these coaches are going like Texas and those schools. They played 16 games.
Yeah.
They could easily go. The last thing we need is have game number 17 in April. I think they could lean on that if they want. But yeah, I think they're going to go away. Do you? I think they're going to pretty much go away.
Yeah, it'll take a while. I still think you'll have some with that, and I still think ESPN will do something with it. And you remember last year with on the main spring game dates, even the SEC network did a poor job of that. They had what maybe one. Yeah, they had one spring game, and then they had baseball and softball.
Yeah, they've lost their fastball for covering them. Hang tight, Brent. Let's take one final break, come back, regroup, and get back to talk a little more Gator basketball. I think they're in a really good spot right now.
Yes.
They take care of business. Their final 5 basketball games. Brent Beard sticks with us. Another segment talking college football and basketball as we start winding down on a Friday. The Young and Norvelle Show continues on Action Sports Jacks. Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jack's Beach.
For over 20 years, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists has been providing the highest level of orthopedic and spine care to patients throughout Northeast Florida. Now, we're making that same great care even more convenient with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists Direct, a walk-in clinic where you can be seen for pain or injuries with no appointment needed. Staffed by orthopedic physicians and specialists, we offer everything from diagnosis and treatment to imaging and bracing, all with no appointment needed. For more information, hours, and locations, visit our website.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dynamic Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
Hey everyone, Olivia Tasley here from Action Sports Jacks to tell you all the different ways you can watch our new 24/7 network. 3 easy steps. You don't even need a pen and paper to write it down. Step number 1, download the app. Search Action News Jacks in your app store either on your phone or your smart TV. Then, once you're on the app, click on that little drop-down menu in the upper left-hand corner with the 3 little lines. That'll show you these options, and boom, right here, click Action Sports Jacks 24/7, and you will be brought to our continuous stream channel. That app can be accessed through all these different platforms, whether you have Roku, Fire TV, Smart TV, Apple TV, or Google TV. You can find our app. Now, if you don't have access to the app, don't worry, we still got you covered. We're across all social media platforms from Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Twitch. We have a podcast channel. Plus, check out our short reels on our TikTok. Action Sports Jacks 24/7. It's on all the time and everywhere.
Summertime means sizzling sales at Nimnick Buick GMC. The #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville has lots of inventory to choose from with their best price guarantee. Nimnick never charges above MSRP. You can save up to $10,000 off select new GMC Sierras or get rates as low as 1.9%. You know, I'm a truck guy. GMC Sierra, my trim level is an SLT. This one's an Elevation. Pretty good looking color as well. So here at Nimnick Buick GMC, you have a lot to pick from. My father-in-law, he drives this, an Enclave, so I like that GMC in the family. 2025 is coming around the corner, which means it's almost time to close out those 2024s this summer. You can schedule a test drive at NimnickBuickGMC.com, and while you're there, check your trade value and customize your payment options. Nimnick is there for you, even on Sundays. Visit the showroom on Phillips Highway or shop online at NimnickBuickGMC.com. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941. GMC, we are professional grade.
Back heading down the home stretch, talking some final college football and basketball with Brent Beard, our buddy. Real quick, I want to get Jaguar news out, the big news of the day. Jaguars have officially named James Gladstone, executive with the Rams. He is the new general manager, so the Jaguars now do have a general manager. They gave, I guess they made 4 of those. Brent Beard, they had 5 guys this week, and Gladstone gets the job, so I guess the phone was ringing. You know those calls. They had to make 4 of those. Well, listen, Brent, this is Terry Norvelle with the Jaguars. Hey, just want to say, listen, you made it a very tough decision on us. Well, you know that's not going good if that's what they're leading off. They had to call 4 guys and say that.
Terry, isn't this the youngest staff now in the league?
It has got to be. And we talked earlier, Brent, the NFL is in a real youthful head coaching hire era. A lot of young guys, and I think McVay was 30 at one point, and but the head guy, the Jaguars have done it across the board. I'm not saying it's wrong, but my God. And Brent, not only chronological age young, none of them have been coordinators.
Yeah, right.
Official full coordinators.
Mm-hmm.
Cohen hasn't ever been a head coach. This general manager has never been a general manager.
Right,
and
right.
I always throw this out. I mean, I think there's more to the job than just, well, I played there and I love the game. Tony Baselli is a 52-year-old rookie executive level hire.
Right.
It's a lot of it.
Yeah.
They're young and they're inexperienced. I'm not saying they're not good at their job, but man, the target is there. In year 2, if it starts going sideways, the easy target for the fan is going to be, well, they hired a bunch of Boy Scouts. They're little kids, right? You know that's coming if they start losing.
Yeah. Do all of them have their driver's license? Is what you're saying?
But it is a young era in the NFL coaching hire, especially. But man, you know me, I'm a guy like you. On my offensive defensive staff, I like to have a grizzled veteran here and there.
Yeah. Oh yes.
A grizzled veteran. Brett, you watch as much Auburn basketball as anybody. And this is going to sound crazy because Janai Broome went for a double-double the other night. He still looks like he's laboring to me up and down the court. It looks like he's dragging his legs still.
Look, I've talked to and heard from some state of Alabama media, and they will tell you that he is still not 100%. Now listen, Terry, I'd love to be able to do everything like he does, as well as he does, at about 85% or something of that nature. But they are now. When you think about that, now here's what you got to think about Auburn. As good as Auburn is, as good as Broome is, as good as those guards are, Florida goes to Auburn and beats them. That's the thing. And I've told people this all week long, Terry, if you can beat Auburn at Auburn, you can win the national championship.
Totally agree.
And I'm not sure right now that anybody has better bigs than Florida does, and they certainly don't have better guards than Florida does.
No.
But I can tell you this: Florida and Auburn are going a long way in the NCAA tournament.
It's going to be really interesting on March 16th, Selection Sunday.
Yeah.
And if Florida and Auburn continue to win, they don't have to win out, but if they just continue to win, neither one of them slips.
Yes.
Commissioner Sankey is going to be watching that bad boy, and the first thing he's going to hope for is they're on different sides.
Yeah. Yes.
And I think that's key. If you're 1 and 2, you get split on different sides.
Yeah. Look, that's a really astute point that hasn't been talked about enough. And you know good and well those television partners have got to be telling them, look, we don't need Auburn and Florida in an Elite 8 game, okay?
Absolutely.
You have got to have that spread out during that time.
And I think that's key because they seed the number one. There's 4 number 1 seeds. Well, you'll get a number. They'll have a pecking order. There's the number 1 of 1. There's number 2, number 3, number 4. One and 2 of them have to be on the same side, just mathematically, right?
Yeah.
If I think it's important for Florida and Auburn to finish 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So
I would agree.
Not that either one of them fears each other, but I want all 4 teams in the SEC in the Final Four. So call me crazy. Florida's in a good spot. I think everybody's got 5 games left, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Florida's got. I think if Florida can navigate their last 5, if they can go 4-1, I think they're in a really good spot. I think. If Florida goes 4-1, I think they are the number 2 seed, the second best number 1 seed out there.
Now, look, I've got the net ratings. Auburn's 1, Florida's 4, Tennessee's 5. Now, again, this is the net rankings, which is basically the RPI that they go by. Tennessee at 5, Alabama's at 6. Terry, do you buy this Tennessee at 5 stuff? I think they'll be there because they can. Their defense is that good. But Terry, Tennessee plays A&M this weekend. Will that be 25-23 at halftime?
It could be. That might be the final. That could be the final. And boy, I got a good friend of mine who's a massive Tennessee fan, and he's been ready to pull his hair out.
I'm sure
they've got a good roster, but something we've said it all year. Something's missing. I don't know if it's something on the court, off the court, and I hate to say it because I like Rick Barnes pretty much. Boy, all of a sudden it looks like he's 10 years and stale there. It looks like he may just got stale there real quick. He's been there 10 years now.
he did it. He did it Texas when he was there.
Yeah.
But look, I get that. Rick Barnes reminds me a little bit of Gene Stallings. He always had a great defense, but he never really understood offense. And again, as we've mentioned, Dalton Knecht really helped Tennessee last year. But and I think these Tennessee fans are ready for anything, Terry. I think they're ready to go to the Final Four, or I think they're ready to be out in the round of 16.
I also see Ziegler. I've seen him all year. His season is reminding me a little bit of Mark Sears. I think he's pressed too hard. I think Ziegler's you can almost see Ziegler. He's played so much. He's been around. He's a good player. I think he's pressed some. As Sears. Florida's Final Five, for people, Gator Nation, that may not know, they're at LSU tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Their midweek game is Tuesday at Georgia. Could be a dicey game. The following Saturday, they have Texas A&M at home, and I think that's a good home game. I would hate for Florida to be going to College Station.
It is, yes.
The following week, their midweek game is Wednesday at Alabama. Big game. That'll be a big game for both teams.
Yes.
And then Florida will close the regular season at home against Ole Miss. So they've got LSU, Georgia, A&M, Bama, and Ole Miss. And I'm kind of serious a little bit about that Georgia game. That could be Georgia's last stand. They may put
look.
Georgia could win that game or lose by 40 because their season will be over, basically.
Well, there are times that we're twins, or I guess triplets because of Brother Brett. But I was thinking the same thing. That will be the game that they put it all together. Mike White at the end of the year has one of these games every year. That they are Terry. It's like the you remember the old cartoons when the cartoon character was hanging onto the cliff with his fingernails. That's what's going on right now with Georgia. And then they just come out of nowhere and have this game of the year. And I'm not saying that they're going to beat Florida, but that's a great analogy that they'll either lose by 40 or win the game.
Yeah, and good old Mike White seems like a great guy, man, but he's just not a head basketball coach. He needs to be the number one assistant sitting in chair number 2.
Right. And yes.
He's doing a lot of the coaching, but he's coaching the head coach, kind of. That's what he needs to do.
Yeah.
He's that guy. Other things. Bouncing around a little bit. Have you started seeing some of these swing games in football? They're starting to do the way too early swing game. Hard to pick one out, though. I tell you, I look around and they called LSU Florida's big swing game. I'm like, I don't know how you can pick. You just throw a dart on a board. I don't know.
Yeah, boy. That's the truth, isn't it? Terry, when didn't Oklahoma cancel the series with Tennessee?
Yeah.
And I understand, and their athletic director is furious. Yeah. Tennessee's athletic director is furious over that.
He took it public. Very public.
And listen, here's and people say, well, what's the big deal with that? Well, the big deal is this: one of the games was 2026. So the reality of it is, Terry, tell me how easy it is to find a game in 2026.
That is hard. That is going to
really is, isn't it?
They're going to have to go buy somebody out.
Yeah.
That is rough. Hey, I want to backtrack a little bit. And college baseball, I expect FSU to be good, really good in college baseball.
Yeah.
You're right. They got the right coach. They put a huge crowd in the stands. I think Florida State sports fan is starved right now. Brent, I'm going back. Yeah. This is not Terry picking on FSU, but it still blows my mind. Brent, I don't hear Florida State athletics talked anywhere.
No.
It's shocking. It's almost like FSU doesn't have an athletic program right now. And Brent, I'm sitting there going, well, when is this going to end?
Yeah.
Well, they'll be good in baseball, but baseball just doesn't get the panache, right? You got to be a Brent Beard, Terry Norvelle.
Correct.
So they'll get a little. Their women's sports may do a little bit this spring, and baseball's going to be good. But I'm sitting there going, well, when's this going to end? They're not going to March Madness.
No.
You're not going to see FSU at all. You're not going to see the brand, the logo, basically the rest of this year. And Brent, I know this is way ahead, but what is that, late August? They open up with Alabama?
Yes.
I think the next time the brand gets on TV, they're going to get drilled by Alabama. With their running quarterback out there. Am I the only one that just looks around and goes, do they even have an athletic program in Tallahassee right now?
They're really struggling. They're really struggling. I mean, look, women's soccer right now is one of their better sports.
Yeah.
But basketball has been nothing. We know what happened with football, and you're right. I mean, they'll help themselves somewhat with baseball, but that's a really good point. If they get beat 3 or 4 touchdowns by Alabama to start the year, I mean, where are they going to be mentally with this thing? And look, Terry, I still say bringing in Gus Malzahn as your offensive coordinator, I really debate. I truly debate on how much that's going to help them.
Yeah. At this point in his career, I don't know. It's just hard. Brett, I know in our adult life, and you've basically relocated here for most of your adult life.
Yeah.
I can't remember Florida. I mean, Florida's gone through dark periods. I mean, probationary periods, and hell, Florida's had a couple of 4-win seasons recently. But Gator talk and Gator frustration. I don't even see or hear FSU frustration. I think you use the word apathy a lot of times.
Yes.
Apathy's horrible. That's worse than fan base anger. Is fan base apathy.
Yeah. If they don't care, that's a real problem. Now, hopefully they'll get some buzz out of the new. I keep saying new stadium, but you know what I mean. The refurbished stadium, and that will help them. But I tell you what would have really helped them, Terry, would have been if they were on the verge of announcing. We'll be playing in the Big Ten in 2026.
Speaking of spring games, FSU will not have one, but it's more because of their stadium.
Oh yeah, I get that. Yes,
but if they wanted to, they could have played somewhere because Mike Norvelle he's moved that team around before. So I don't think they really want. It's just you're not going to see them at all in March. Boy, what a good year for FSU to get a 5 seed. And make it to the second weekend.
Absolutely.
Right, and I'm talking just to have the brand out there,
just
to see the logo.
Yeah,
I mean, you never see them in basketball. I saw when they played Florida.
Yeah, and they played Miami the other day.
Yeah, beat Miami the other day. Miami's terrible.
It was a 9 o'clock game, and probably everybody was in bed by 9:30 or 10.
Brett, 2 minutes left. Want to get this out, and I understand that we only have 1 year of the 12-team playoff, and the expanded playoff is upon us, but. I'll be happy. College football, particularly this playoff and the seeding they're talking about now, we got to get to the point where every other hour there's not a change to this thing.
Yeah.
And I get it. It's kind of new. But I can't wait, Brent, until we've got something smooth. There's always too much change in the structure of college football.
I would agree with that. Now, I do think some good things are coming. Next week's going to be a very important week.
Yeah.
The management committee of the college football playoff, they're meeting in Dallas. I'm sure again at the Red Roof Inn.
Of course.
But now what that means is they will have all the commissioners from all the leagues to decide this. Now, they've had preliminary meetings before they meet with this one, too. I don't know when they will come out. I do think it's going to be at least 14. It may be 16.
Right.
As far as the expansion is concerned. But I'm just telling you, the thing that's really picking up steam is this kind of and I can't use, and I know we're short on time, but they're kind of putting this out there like this is kind of dark and mysterious, that you're going to have about every conference, the big four conferences are going to have about a 4-game play-in situation on championship weekend instead of having one game.
Yeah,
so
I need more information on that. It sounds a little wacky right now, but I don't know enough about it.
I don't think they know enough about it either, frankly. But not only do you have that, but you got the 9 SEC games that very well may be decided too. So that there is a substantial amount of stuff going on over the next few weeks.
Definitely. We'll cover it all. And again, guys, the news of the day around here: the Jaguars now do have a hired general manager. They have offered and hired James Gladstone, one of the 5 finalists that got their second interview this week. Gladstone got the nod. He will be the new general manager of the Jacksonville Jaguars. 34 years old, Brent Beard. 34 years old, never been a general manager. The guy, the top guy.
Yeah.
But, boy, it's a youth movement in the NFL, isn't it?
It sure is. Yeah. There's no doubt about that. That's going to be fascinating. But I think most people are saying, well, Balky is out. And that's all that matters.
I think so, yes. No doubt about it. All right, Brent, stay warm, buddy. It's going to have a cold one tonight.
That's right.
We'll get together next week. Have a lot of basketball to talk about this weekend. And, man, basically 2 weeks of college basketball regular season left.
Look, this is on another day. Basketball still starts too early. And about the time it really gets exciting, Terry, it's almost over.
It really is. It really is. All right, he is Brent Beard. We'll get back together on Monday and review everything that happened from a busy sports weekend coming up. There's our lineup, and you can catch us every weekday at 4 o'clock right here for the Young and Norvelle Show. For Patrick, of course, Zach, and Brent Beard, I'm Terry Norvelle. Have a great rest of your Friday. Stay warm. We'll talk again Monday at 4 on the Young and Norvelle Show.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jack's Beach.
For over 20 years, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists has been providing the highest level of orthopedic and spine care to patients throughout Northeast Florida. Now, we're making that same great care even more convenient with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists Direct, a walk-in clinic where you can be seen for pain or injuries with no appointment needed. Staffed by orthopedic physicians and specialists, we offer everything from diagnosis and treatment to imaging and bracing, all with no appointment needed. For more information, hours, and locations, visit our website.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
Hey everyone, Olivia Tasley here from Action Sports Jacks to tell you all the different ways you can watch our new 24/7 network. 3 easy steps. You don't even need a pen and paper to write it down. Step number 1, download the app. Search Action News Jacks in your app store either on your phone or your smart TV. Then, once you're on the app, click on that little drop-down menu in the upper left-hand corner with the 3 little lines. That'll show you these options, and boom, right here, click Action Sports Jacks 24/7, and you will be brought to our continuous stream same channel. That app can be accessed through all these different platforms, whether you have Roku, Fire TV, Smart TV, Apple TV, or Google TV. You can find our app. Now, if you don't have access to the app, don't worry, we still got you covered. We're across all social media platforms from Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Twitch. We have a podcast channel. Plus, check out our short reels on our TikTok. Action Sports Jacks 24/7. It's on all the time and everywhere.
Summertime means sizzling sales at Nimnick Buick GMC. The #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville has lots of inventory to choose from with their best price guarantee. Nimnick never charges above MSRP. You can save up to $10,000 off select new GMC Sierras or get rates as low as 1.9%.
You know, I'm a truck guy. GMC Sierra, my trim level is an SLT. This one's an Elevation. Pretty good looking color as well. So here at Nimnick Buick GMC, you have a lot to pick from. My father-in-law, he drives this, an Enclave, so I feel like that GMC in the family. 2025 is coming around the corner, which means it's almost time to close out those 2024s this summer.
You can schedule a test drive at NimnickBuickGMC.com, and while you're there, check your trade value and customize your payment options. Nimnick is there for you, even on Sundays. Visit the showroom on Phillips Highway or shop online at NimnickBuickGMC.com. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941. GMC, we are professional grade.